Welcome back to the 2019 Four Wheel Parts Nitto National Championship. I'm Miles Hasquist alongside Jim Marsden. We're at the Wild West Motorsports Park just outside of Reno, Nevada. We just finished up the 4900 Can-Am Motorsports UTV class. What are we about to kick off, Jim?
We're just about to see now the 4600 stock class. The cars are lining up on track and they'll be going live any moment. Miles, we're looking at the 4600 stock class now as they're lining up to come on down the hill and get this race started. There's no delays, it's just action, action, action all day long. We've got some big hitters in this, and sitting on that front row of the grid is Dawson Allington, who threw down a fantastic lap yesterday.
Right next to him is going to be John Schaefer.
And then Josh Atterbury.
And then Sean and Brian McNamara.
I'm glad you said it right this morning. And then just behind him is Vince Blas.
Followed right next to him will be Jesse Haines.
Jesse Haines, of course, a rock master. Be interesting to see what he can do with his little Vauxhall today.
Then John Snell and Craig Honnell.
And then filling up the final place on the back of the pack is Bill Schultz.
And leading the national points is Josh Atterbury. Number 2, John Schaefer. Number 3, Dawson Allington. Number 4, John Snell. And then Daniel May Applegate rounding out the top 5 for the national points. This will set us up for our main event later today. This is the 4600 Spider Track stock class about to go green.
And here we go. As soon as they touch these rocks, we are live.
So it's Dawson Allington and John Schaefer, the drag race across the rocks side by side. Dawson does pull the lead just a tick on Schaefer. Gets to the Steel It Rock section first.
We saw John Schaefer there trying to close the door on Dawson Allington, but Dawson was having none of it. Great drive from this little guy and making that little car buck and bronc all the way over those Steel It rocks.
Dawson gets completely sideways but gets it back. So it's Dawson Allington pulls the hole shot. John Schaefer, Sean McNamara.
But it looks like that Dawson Allington might have a problem. He's slowing down as he goes up the hill.
Squeezes off Schaefer just a tick. So we'll see how this rock section plays out. There's multiple lines going down to the Amada, Jeep, Tensor Tire, ARB, Warren, Savvy, Ginrite, Monster Rock section.
Is indeed. Now they've got to remember this is not the main, this is the prelim. They've got to keep these cars together for another race later in the day.
And these all started life as stock Jeeps, except for Jesse Haines' car. This is, these guys used to drive these, some of these are still street legal.
Jesse Haines' car also started as a stock vehicle, don't forget. It is a Roxor Mahindra Jeep.
So these guys have to have a single shock per corner, 35-inch DOT tires.
And we see such a mix of suspension on these vehicles. Some are running coils, some are running leafs. They have everything you could think of, and these cars have it. But it's Dawson Allington still out in front. We saw him pulling a wheel stand as he made his way up through the MBRP rocks yesterday. Will we see it again?
And now John Schaefer's taking the left line. Dawson's on the right line. Dawson's hung up, has to back up. So John Schaefer takes the lead on the MBRP rock section.
Yeah,
and now McNamara.
I think Dawson broke something when he came over the Steel It rocks earlier. He didn't look right. He looked shaky. So let's see what he can do here.
He gets it back going, but now it is up front. John Schaefer, Team Savvy in his Jeep.
As Jesse Haines moves into third position in the Mahindra Roxor.
And he started in 6th position, so Jesse Haines moved up really nice. But John Schaefer just spins out, but saves it, keeps going, entering into the King roller section.
And we're seeing there images of Dawson Allington. He's trying to make his way up through these rocks, but he's struggling. I can't see any breakages, but he's certainly lost a bucket of time right there.
And that's Jesse Haines in that diesel rolling hard, and that's Josh Atterbury, our current points leader right now. Drag racing Jesse Haines gets around him.
Yeah, Jesse Haines running out of power there. Lots of smoke and no go.
So there's John Schaefer on screen. And his Savvy Jeep in the lead.
And his second position. It's the McNamara brothers doing a great job.
Brian and Sean McNamara in second place. Third place is our national points leader, Josh Atterbury, and then Jesse Haines in top 4.
Yeah, the McNamara brothers will be so pleased to be in this position. I hope they can keep it together. Currently running in second position behind John Schaefer.
Jesse Haines is running the portals, so he's going to really shine in the rock section so he gets around Josh Atterbury.
But let's not forget, he's running leaf springs as we watch Dawson Allington crossing the line in front of us, but it's still that man out in front, John Schaefer, as he makes his way into the rocks.
Vince Blast just came blowing through the rock section. He's chasing down Dawson Allington. But on screens, John Schaefer, Sean McNamara, Jesse Haines.
Let's not forget, these cars are running 35-inch DOT tyres. So what does that mean? It means that they cannot use sticky compound tyres like some of our big race cars that we'll be seeing later on. So they're just like a street legal tyre. But they're putting them to good use as we watch John Schaefer coming down through the rocks. But the McNamara brothers are hard on his heels. And we can hear sirens blaring as John Schaefer starts to catch lap traffic.
Already he's out on his second lap and already getting lap traffic. But John Schaefer and McNamara are bumped on the MBRP rock section.
Oh, and look at this. John Schaefer stopped on the MBRP rocks, and the McNamara brothers make the move round the outside and take the tougher right-hand line.
The right hand is a lot trickier. And there's Vince Blast.
And Jesse Haines drives straight into the biggest rock on the racecourse as he tries to pick his way around John Schaefer.
So what happened to John Schaefer? Tough break, but Sean and Brian McNamara, followed by Jesse Haines, first and second.
But it's all changed at the top. The McNamara brothers now out in front with Jesse Haines in second.
So there's McNamara brothers on screen and their Jeep Cherokee sitting in that second position.
Yesterday morning they went out to start their vehicle and it wouldn't start. They stripped out all the wiring harness, plugged it all back in again, and as if by magic, boom, up she went again, baby.
So McNamara brothers heading up to the Optima 180. Jesse Haines trying to chase him down.
But it's all about Sean and Brian McNamara, and look at the way they're coming across those rocks. Oh, boys, keep it together. That's a bit too violent for the prelims, I think.
He's already in the lead. Settle down a little bit. This is going to be a long day of racing for the 4600 Spider Track stock class.
And Jesse Haines is hunting. He'll be watching that, and he'll have a wry smile. He knows that they're pushing hard, and that might be his opportunity to make a pass.
But remember, this is just the heat setting up for their main event, so Jesse Haines is probably playing it smart, because if he can keep in that second position, he knows he's starting side by side.
Yeah, as we watch Jesse Haines passing Craig Honnell in the rocks, but it's all about Sean and Brian McNamara as they make their way up to the top end of the course once again. And
I'll be honest, there isn't much of an advantage finishing first or second, because it's side-by-side racing through the rocks, and you just kind of blow through there.
We were just watching Dawson Allington there, who's now running down in sixth position. I think that young man might have a problem. But we're looking at the downhill rock garden, and that's our race leaders in the background, Sean and Brian McNamara. And actually, Dawson made a few passes in the rock section. The downhill rock section's starting to jam up a little bit. You can see McNamara right now coming down, taking that left-hand line. Yeah, just taking it a little bit easier. He's doing a great job here. Not sure which one of the brothers is driving. Oh, look at this. That's Josh Atterbury blocking. He's stuck, so what's McNamara going to do? These are little... He's just going to give him a quick nudge, and he's on his way again. But that's giving the other cars the opportunity to start catching. But there's someone missing, Miles. Where is Jesse Haines? Oh, I see Jesse Haines, I think. I think it looks like he might have been pulled over. So that's our race leader, Brian and Sean McNamara, heading up the MBRP rock section. Right behind him, a lap down, is Josh Atterbury. And then there's Christopher Doria, Dizzy. Straight Jacket Racing. He's a little off the pace. Then Vince Blass. But there it is, our race leaders currently in this first of the prelims in the 4600 stock class, and it is Sean and Brian McNamara doing a fantastic job here. We saw John Snell cruise by just a minute ago. Bill Schultz still out there, Craig Honnell, John Snell, Jesse Haines, Vince Blass, Sean and Brian McNamara up front, Josh Atterbury, John Schaefer, Dawson Allington out on course. That is our current race leader, Sean and Brian McNamara. We're getting a little bit of traffic stuck in the rocks further back, and our former race leader John Schaefer has dropped right back down the field, as has Dawson Allington. But here at IR, our race leaders in this first of our 4600 prelims, it is Brian and Sean McNamara, and they take a smoother route through these rocks. That's a bit tidier miles, nicer to see. But we've got lap traffic in front of them now. They're racing into the steel-lit rocks under a yellow flag. That means they have to take care and control.
So I still don't see Jesse Haines. Yeah, I think Jesse Haines pulled up above the rock section up there, pulled over, so not sure what's going on with him.
Yeah, tough break there for Jesse, but let's not forget this is the prelims, so he will get another opportunity. It looks like it's Sean and Brian McNamara, and it looks like it could be John Schaefer in second position currently, and then behind him, Dawson Allington. But this is all unofficial at the moment, and we'll have to wait for confirmation.
And this is setting everything up for the main event later on today. We're going to try to stick to schedule, so this 4600 Spider Track stock class should be right around 1:30.
Watching Sean and Brian McNamara there as they make their way past lap traffic. Driving beautiful, nice and smooth, making those 35-inch DOT tyres do the work. Fantastic shots here from our live drones. Here in Reno, at the 2019 Ultra 4 4-wheel parts National Championships 2019.
Huge shout out to the Hammer King production crew bringing you all this live coverage.
Just looking here at this drone footage, and then as you see as it cuts back to our other camera, you'll see how big and gnarly these rocks are and how steep this hill is as Brian and Sean fight their way to the top for another time.
Sean and Brian McNamara still out front, and then it's going to be John Schaefer, Vince Blias, Dawson Allington, John Snell, Christopher Doria, Bill Schultz, Josh Atterbury, Craig Honnell. This is all unofficial, but these guys are still pushing hard.
They are indeed. We've had a few people have already dropped out. Jesse Haines is out, we know for certain. And we've seen some other guys that look like they're carrying a few war wounds as they make their way around the course.
And what did happen to John Schaefer? He was running strong early, got off pace, and now he's pushing hard again.
Yeah, it's be interesting. We'll try and get some stories for you from these guys, find out what's been going on as they make their way around this first preliminary.
John Schaefer just threw down a 2:55 lap, so he's really pushing hard again.
That's great to see as we watch our current race leader, Brian and Sean McNamara.
Just blasting through the 4-wheel parts rock section.
And they'll be sitting there in that car right now. This vehicle has leaf springs on the rear. They're going to be taking this down the mall later on to pick up some shopping.
I love the 4600 Spider Track stock class. These guys have a lot of fun. They're a great group. They all kind of team up and help each other. They're all pitted together to, watch each other's back. These guys like to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's all like one big happy family, and that's why we love them so much. And it's all about these guys now, Sean and Brian McNamara. They have a commanding lead as they wait their way to the top of the course. But as they sit in these vehicles, they'll be thinking, my word, will this course ever come to an end? These laps seem to come longer and longer each time.
The 4400 guys are getting ready to have their little meeting. So we see all the big boys down there chatting away, kind of pointing over, seeing how the course has changed. But there's Brian and Sean McNamara in their Jeep Cherokee, heading down the off-the-grid PCI, PRP, Optima, Savvy, Monster, Genrite, RCV.
And we're going to get some fantastic footage here of John Schaefer. And John Schaefer is catching Brian and Sean McNamara. Look at this. Where has John come from? He's really been laying down the power to make up that time.
He's chasing them down, but remember, that's first and second, so they'll still start side by side. So run hard, but play it smart.
Absolutely. And it looks like Brian and Sean, maybe they have a problem. They certainly seem to be running a little bit slower as they make their way into the MBRP rock zone. Yeah, John is really closing the door now on his teammate. Both cars in that famous Falcon livery And John takes the right-hand line, a huge wheel stand, and comes to a grinding halt in those huge rocks.
So John Schaefer still pushing hard, trying to chase down Sean and Brian McNamara. So that is the race, first and second. The McNamaras and John Schaefer. Then it's Vince Blass.
Yeah, but look at this.
Dotson Allington.
Look at this. Brian and Sean, they're pulling off. It looks like they... Oh, no.
So McNamara pulling off. Tough break for him. So that's going to put John Schaefer in the lead.
So as we see Brian and Sean peeling away, our new race leader is John Schaefer in that Falcon liveried Jeep.
Driving the Savvy Jeep. He's got a right rear fender flare falling off. He's been beating it.
Yeah, so a tough break there from the McNamara brothers as John Schaefer makes his way up the course, and John himself is also slowing down. Oh no. Now John Schaefer, our current race leader, is stopped. He gets going again. This is a tough race course, Miles, and we haven't even got onto the big dance.
This is going to be a long day of racing. Thank you, everybody back home staying tuned in. Ultra4racing.com/live. Get on the King of the Hammers Facebook. Hit that share button. Hit the Ultra4 Instagram. Hashtag it up. We'll be with you all day long, bringing you the action.
Now, people call this short course racing. I call it advanced endurance racing. There is no such thing as an easy lap round here at Reno.
The Wild West Motorsports Park, always a fan favorite. You can see the entire race from the grandstands. It starts filling more and more up. It was very chilly this morning, but it's starting to warm up a little bit. The sun is out there. We hope to get more of it.
As we watch John Schaefer passing the Steelette rocks and making his way round.
So John Schaefer out front.
Looks
and
like
then it's going to be Vince Blass and then Dawson Allington back in third position.
Our longtime race leaders, Sean and Brian McNamara, had to limp into the hot pit. I hope we can see them back later on.
But everybody's still battling out there. Craig Honnold, Josh Atterbury, Jesse Haines pulled off. Sean and Brian McNamara pulled off. Bill Schultz, Christopher Doria, Dizzy, John Snell, Dawson Allington, Vince Blass, John Schaefer out front. You can see him coming down the ARB Jeep Amada Griffin Fab School Rock section.
Yeah, John Schaefer doing a lovely job. Wheel arch blowing in the breeze as he picks the line down through there one more time.
We'll have roughly 100 cars racing with us today. The 4400 class will run 3 heats. We'll take 7 out of each heat and advance them to the main. What a great aerial view from our live drone of John Schaefer and his Savvy Jeep.
And you can see here from our drone footage how the lines are now cutting into the MBRP rock zone. But John Schaefer, it's all about this man as he picks his way to the top.
But some of our fast guys earlier, we had Sean and Brian McNamara leading the race. He pulled off. We had Jesse Haines in second. He pulled off. John Schaefer was leading earlier, and he slowed down, and now he's back on race pace. This course is really taking its toll on these cars.
It is indeed. And we saw Dawson Allington, our early leader, succumbing to some kind of problem, but he is still on course as we watch our race leader, John Schaefer, making his way around, and I think he'll be collecting a white flag at the end of this lap.
This is a 7-lap heat. So we're going to watch a quick replay of how Schaefer took the lead. This is from earlier. This is a replay.
And there we can see Sean and Brian McNamara, our race leader for so many laps, slowing down. And there's John Schaefer as he made his way up through the MBRP rock sections.
He's got that Savvy Jeep moving good. John Schaefer, our current leader, grabs the white flag.
And here he comes now. He'll be making the pass as Sean and Brian pull off the course.
Sounds like they may have had a steering issue or something, so pulled off. So tough break for the McNamaras.
And there is our current race leader, John Schaefer, who is now on his final lap.
And now we're back to live racing right there. You can see John Schaefer out on his final lap.
John Schaefer 3/4 of a lap away from taking that checkered flag and winning the first of our Spider Tracks 4600 class prelims. But there's still plenty of other cars on track as we watch John Schaefer coming down through the rock garden for the final time in this prelim. Smart drive here from John. Looked like he had a problem earlier on, but whatever it was, he overcame it. Kept that pace good, looking after his tyres. And it's also worth noting here, Miles, and something that we might see something changing later on, is the course has been heavily watered and they're dragging a lot of that moisture now onto the rocks. How's that going to affect the cars later?
Yeah, and remember, these are 35-inch DOT non-sticky tires. These are the same tires you can put on your pickup and drive to work.
And here he is, John Schaefer, making his way into the MBRP rock zone for the final time in this prelim.
And then he'll come through the short course, hit the four-wheel parts rocks, then into the Steelite rocks. We're just a few minutes away, and John Schaefer looks like he's got this race wrapped up.
And here comes John Schaefer as he makes his way into the second to last turn.
He's getting ready to cruise up to the PCI King rollers.
Going on to the King doubles now. He oozes and trickles his way up the course.
And he's got a spotter in the stands with his PCI radio telling him, hey, you're in the lead. Play it smart. You've got this race. You'll start up front for the main event.
But he still has to tackle the four-wheel pass rock zone and the Steelite rock section, which he'll be passing under yellow.
So John Schaefer coming on into town, hitting the four-wheel parks rock section for the final time in this heat. The Savvy Jeep still looking good, all four tires holding up.
And there it is, he takes the checkered flag. A superb drive there from John Schaefer, but he still has to cross those Steelite rocks to get to the timing loop. So even though he's seen the flag, he has to clear the rocks for this time to count.
Yep, the timing loop is after the Steelite rock section. So John Schaefer just a couple more rocks away. He's bouncing the Savvy Jeep through. John Schaefer, your unofficial winner of the Heat 1 for the 4600 Spider Track stock class.
So great drive there from John Schaefer. And in second place is Dawson Allington, making his way onto the MBRP rocks. He was our early race leader, but it looked like he had a problem and several cars passed him in this exact position he is now.
So he had an early issue but battled through, and if he can start up front, he'll be very happy with that.
He will. Dawson's been fighting
and
illness all through this year, so he's stoked to be here and racing as he makes that car work hard to get to the top.
So on screen is your live scoring, but the national points, John Schaefer's in second and Dawson Allington's in third. Roughly 60 points splitting those two up. Josh Atterbury, I haven't seen him running. I think he dropped out of this, so he'll have to start from the back of the pack. He's our national points leader as of now. So it's going to be an interesting race later on today.
And let's not forget, this is the shortened course for these guys, and we can already see the huge amount of attrition that's taken place. We had 9 starters this morning, and I think we have less than half of those still running.
So the pits will be busy for the 4600 Spider Track stock class. Here comes...
And that's Bill Schultz crossing the line, but I think Bill Schultz is still a lap down at this stage. But here comes our second place vehicle right behind him, which is Dawson Allington. We'll be seeing coming into shot. There he is right now. A superb result for this young man.
Baby Jeep Racing. Pearson's riding with Dawson. Sierra Gear and Axle.
We watch Dawson pogoing over the top.
So it looks like Dawson will start right next to John Schaefer. They're very similar Jeeps. It'll be a drag race. It's going to make for a fun main event later on today.
Great stuff there from Dawson. You know, he'll be absolutely stoked to be starting on the front row later on. Now we saw there as Dawson passed through, we saw Bill Schultz. Looks like Bill Schultz could be provisionally in third position, but he is a lap down.
So number 1 was John Schaefer. Number 2, Dawson Allington. Looks like number 3 should be Bill Schultz. Maybe fourth is Vince Blass.
I haven't seen Vince now for a lap or two, so I'm not sure where he's sitting. And there's been a huge amount of attrition in this race.
So, like I said, everything we do say is unofficial, but I believe it was only John Schaefer and Dawson Allington finishing the 7 laps.
As we see the 46.55 of Vince Blass, all kinds of noises coming from underneath that car. There's rattles, there's clanks, there's bangs, but he's keeping it together. The wheels are still turning, and that means he will get a finish here.
There's broken cars all over the course. There's John Snell broke down in the Steel It Rock section. I see Christopher Doria dizzy stuck at the bottom of the MBRP Rock section. We saw Sean McNamara broke down. We saw Jesse Haines pull off. There is broken carnage everywhere out on the course.
No, and this is a tough break here for Vince Blass. It looks like he's actually stuck on the rocks. Yeah, he's high centered there. Oh, tough luck for this young man. He's literally 5 meters from the finish of this race course.
And you can see the tires just barely turning, but he's got stuck on the diffs there. He's hoping that somebody can come through and give him a little bump.
Unfortunately, I don't think there's any cars left on this race course to give him a bump. So, but he needs to get to the finish. He has to get there, otherwise he will get a DNF. So we might see his co-driver get out in a minute, reach for that winch line and see if he can find something. Just give him those few millimeters that he needs to get those tires back in contact with the ground. His co-driver's sitting there going, I'm not getting out, it's comfortable in here.
We are about to kick off the 4600 Spider Track Stock Class main event. Up front is John Schaefer. Right next to him is Dawson Allington. Right behind them is Bill Schultz and Vince Blass. Then Sean and Brian McNamara. Next to Christopher Doria Dizzy.
John Snell, Jesse Haines, Josh Atterbury, and Craig Honnell. Now we just need to get confirmation that they're all running. I think I can see them all on track. So it looks like we got ourselves a fully stacked main. Let's not forget, this is the Spider Tracks 4600 modified stock class.
We've got 11 cars out on course.
And we're just about to start. The action starts as soon as they touch those rocks. And watch Dawson Allington. I wouldn't mind betting he goes for it. And he does. Dawson Allington takes the lead from John Schaefer. Sean and Brian McNamara also make a great start. Oh, we heard a tyre blow out behind somewhere. We'll let you know who that was, but it's all about Dawson Allington as he powers across the steel-lit rocks, closely followed by John Schaefer.
So Dawson Allington pulls the whole shot. John Schaefer, savvy, hot on his heels. Then Vince Blass.
Now we have a car stuck in the rocks.
There is action everywhere
you look. There's cars stuck, trying to move on. Trying to get over.
They're in the Steel It Rock section right there. You see McNamara getting a little slideways.
There's Dawson Allington, who's working his way down through the rock garden.
Baby Jeep Racing out front. Dawson Allington in his Jeep. I think all of these are Jeeps. Jeep's one of our main sponsors out here, so great to see these guys racing.
In third place, is that?
That's Jesse Haines.
That might be Jesse Haines in his Mahindra Roxor. Pushing that little car hard. The only diesel in this field. In fact, I think he might be the only diesel car racing today.
Dawson Allington on screen in the MBRP Rock section, but this is going to be tough for these stock guys. Remember, they're not going all the way up. They're going to take a hard ride after this MBRP Rock section. Huge wheel stand.
Yeah, Dawson clears the rocks and on his way again. Making his way down. I think you just see him hesitate. We're seeing more action now as Jesse Haines makes his way into second place, but it's all about Dawson Allington, who's in first as he makes his way back round the short course.
Dawson's starting to pull a little bit of a lead. Can he keep that Jeep together? So far, so good. Dawson's pushing hard. Great to see him out here racing. He had some health issues right after King of the Hammers this year, and he's made a full recovery, and really good to see him out here battling and out front.
Indeed it is, as Dawson goes off our screens. Comes back on again, coming down the hill towards the four-wheel parts rock garden. Now Dawson, take it easy here. He has been getting a little bit crazy in these rocks. We'd love to see him at the end. Nicely done there.
Dawson makes it right through the four-wheel parts rock section, heading into the Steal It rock section. Dawson's running a great race.
He is indeed.
Grabs a different gear. Just kind of bouncing through there. There's our live drone.
Look at that.
Look at the grandstands, almost completely full. Look at all the pits. That's a cool aerial view. Thank you,
any minute
Hammer
now,
Productions.
you will be seeing second place just come into view. Oh, he just disappeared. But any second now, there he is. That's our second place car. That is the Mahindra Roxor of Jesse Haines.
Jesse Haines is running portals to get more ground clearance in these rocks. That little 2.5 diesel. You can see him blowing smoke, heading up this hill shortly. Jesse Haines running a good race.
And it's Dawson Allington coming down into the rock garden one more time. But he's doing a great job here, just picking nice clean lines, keeping it easy. Let's not forget that these stock class cars are running a 35-inch DOT tyre. That's the same tyre that you've got on your four-wheel drive.
This is a 7-lap main event for the 4600 Spider Track stock class. Out front is Dawson Allington, the 4695. Look at all those great sponsors in the background. LaserNet, Savvy, Optima, Genrite, RCV, Monster Energy. Thank you to those guys. Looks like Sean McNamara is pulled over. Tough break for him. Not sure what's going on. Hopefully they can get going.
Indeed. Now we've got lap traffic in the way for Dawson Allington here. Now, is this going to cause him any problems? He's going to have to take that harder right-hand line. He usually favours that left hand, so let's see what Dawson can do here as he fights his way to the top.
He might like that line a little better because the other side, he's so short, he was wheel standing.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you might see him take that one again. Great bit of driving and control there from Dawson. And he's starting to pull out quite a considerable lead over second place, Jesse Haines. Oh, look at this drone shot here of our race course.
Look how big it is. So the grandstands are right in the middle on the left.
Look at all those cars. Incredible number of people out here to support this wonderful Ultra 4 racing. As we watch Dawson Allington heading down round the top bend and heading down the hill towards the four-wheel parts rock garden.
This is the 2019 Four-Wheel Parts Nitto National Championship. We're here at the Wild West Motorsports Park. There's Dawson Allington hitting the four-wheel parts rock section. What a great run he's got going. He's finishing his second lap right now out of 7.
Yeah, and Vince Blass is still stuck on the rocks, so Dawson Allington's going to have to pick a line past him. Tough break there for Vince Blass, who was doing so well earlier on in this race. It's worth remembering that these guys are now racing to the finish for the podium. This is not a prelim, this is the big deal, this is the final. So it's all about position, and our current race leader is Dawson Allington, followed by Jesse Haines, who's approximately 30 to 40 seconds behind Dawson now. In third place, it's John Schaffer, who's doing a fantastic job there.
Gets a nice pass in that savvy Jeep. John Schaefer running a great race, but on screen right now is our physical race leader, Dawson Allington, running into a little lap traffic. We'll see if that plays its toll.
Yeah, lap traffic just getting in the way here for Dawson.
Dawson's on the horn saying, hey, I'm on the lead lap. Please pull over. I'm coming through.
Let's see what this lap traffic does, whether it moves over or whether it's going to stay in the way. And I'm also interested to see what line Dawson takes. Is Dawson going to take that left hand?
And it sounds like we have a little bit of action in the pits. Hey, Drew, what's going on down there, buddy?
Okay, so we're in the pit again with the 4639 of Scott Shuey. He's coming with 2 flats, so they've got them changed out. There's a little bit of leak from the front, but it's only coolant. So as long as they get it turned around quick enough, that'll be okay. Checking a link there. Lug nuts are going back on. That's coming out quite a significant amount now. Got this left rear to change as well, but this is the stock main race. Of the 4-wheel parts.
Well, thank you, Drew.
Ultra
While we
Ford
were down in the
Nationals.
pits with him, we had John Schaefer take second place from Jesse Haines.
He has indeed, and Dawson Allington is still our leader though, and we're watching him pick through the Steelit rocks, and off he goes, charging up the hill, but that gap is definitely closing. John Schaefer is definitely on a charge.
And John Schaefer's physically sitting in second position in the national points, and Dawson Allington's in third place in national points, but he's leading this race, so it's going to be down to the wire. Can Dawson win this race and win the national championship? It's a possibility.
Well, wouldn't that be fantastic, particularly after the health problems that he had earlier this year. And there he is, the young man himself, Dawson Allington, picking his way down through the rocks. He's looking good, he's looking smooth. Keep it together, Dawson.
And talking about national points, Josh Atterbury's physically sitting in sixth position right now. He is our national points leader, then followed closely by John Schaefer, Dawson Allington, John Snell, and then Daniel May Applegate for the national points. So Dawson out front, physically, followed by John Schaefer, Jesse Haines, Bill Schultz, Christopher Doria, Dizzy, Josh Atterbury, John Snell, Nathan Creer, Vince Blass, Craig Honnell, and Sean and Brian McNamara that are not moving.
Now I'm wondering if it's just a lack of horsepower for Jesse Haines. He still seems to be moving quite nicely. But John Schaefer is certainly starting to close the gap on Dawson Allington.
Yep, and those are very similar Jeeps. Dawson Allington out front, but the savvy Jeep with John Schaefer out of Alabama running hard, trying to chase him down. So Christopher Doria, Dizzy with the straight jacket Cherokee, is missing his rear diff cover, so we'll see how long his rear end will hold up with no oil in it. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, dust does not make a great lubricant, so let's see what happens here. But there's some fantastic racing going on here in the Spider Tracks 4600 stock class.
There's John Schaefer physically in second place in that savvy Jeep. Coming into the PCI King rollers.
Well, I can tell you, there's Dawson Allington, and there he is on our screens, that still has the lead as he makes it towards the Steelit Rock Garden. Now there are two back markers sitting in there, but Dawson, young head, but he's got broad shoulders and showing great maturity here in his driving.
Look at him
Look at
pick his
this.
lines, bouncing those 35-inch DOT tires through that rock section. These have to have a stock frame.
Fantastic
35-inch
driving
DOT
there.
tires.
But Bill Schiffer is definitely closing the gap on Dawson Allington. He is really attacking hard. But it's Dawson Allington heading up the hill and into the rock garden.
So John Schaefer chasing down Dawson Allington. This is a 7-lap race. They're out on lap 5, over halfway through this race course. Dawson Allington got the whole shot and has stayed out front this entire race. We'll see how it plays out. John Schaefer not too far behind him, and then it's Jesse Haines and the Roxor.
Yeah, Jesse Haines dropping back a little bit now. I think he's struggling for power, if I'm honest. Big puff of black smoke as he powers away, but it's about the man on screen that we see here, which is Dawson Allington, and that's the man chasing him, John Schaefer.
It's going to be a race to the finish, but Dawson Allington looking good out there. He's in the MBRP rock section. We'll see if he takes the left or right line. Okay, he does opt to take that left line, but remember, he comes through here, and he does a pretty good wheel stand almost every time coming out of the top. There he goes. Drops the hammer and comes on out of the top of the MBRP rock section.
Yeah, he seems to be very comfortable with that line, although I do agree with you, he looked better going up the right-hand line. But you got to do what you got to do, and Dawson Allington is running this race in his own style and his own pace, and he's doing a great job. Oh my word, but we got news. John Schaefer, who was in second place, is currently stopped on course and has just started to get going once again. So maybe John Schaefer has a problem, or maybe he just couldn't get it from high. Maybe he was shifting from high to low and got stuck between gears.
And now he's fighting lap traffic, and now Jesse Haines is right on John Schaefer's tail. So that's the battle for second and third. Schaefer had to back up. Jesse Haines had to stop. Jesse Haines, the rock crawler. Yep, I was going to say he'll probably take the right line if Schaefer will get out of the way. There he goes. Could this be a pass for second place? It looks like it is. Look at that. Jesse Haines moving into second position. Great job. This is the 4600 Spider Track stock class. Dawson Allington out front. Jesse Haines just moved into second place, followed by John Schaefer.
Yeah, this is Dawson Allington on our screens though. And Dawson coming in to complete his 5th lap of this 7-lap race.
2 more laps to go for Dawson. Can he keep it together to finish first? First, you must finish. Let's see if Dawson Allington can pull it off. And what's going on with John Schaefer? We saw he had some issues, and Jesse Haines got around him.
Yeah, it looks like he's going again, although I'm wondering if John Schaefer's got some steering issues. We just saw him come round a bend very, very wide indeed. So I think he might have to be nursing that car.
Tough break for Schaefer. That savvy-built Jeep's always looking good, always running strong. There's Dawson Allington coming down the Jeep Griffin Radiator KMC rock section.
And Dawson's doing a wonderful job here. He just needs to keep his head, keep it cool. He has nearly a half a lap lead over Jesse Haines. But Jesse Haines is being caught once again by John Schaefer.
So that's the battle right now, is Jesse Haines and John Schaefer really battling all the way to the end. Jesse Haines can absolutely rock crawl with the best of them, but he's a little low on horsepower up going up these hills, so we'll see if Schaefer can make the pass, and it looks like he's going to try to stick it. Not yet, but we'll see who's got the horsepower going up the hill.
Jesse's going to be rolling coal up this hill. Big puffs of black smoke. What's John Schaefer got for him? And John Schaefer goes wide. Looks to make the pass.
But Jesse Haines is on the inside. Can he close the deal going into the rock section? Looks like Schaefer does stick the... Well, it's going to be close.
American muscle versus Indian muscle. And it looks like the American muscle's making a habit.
Jesse Haines,
he's not saying no.
He's not
going to
giving
have
up.
this. Now this is a rock race.
Rubbing is racing. John Schaefer, Jesse Haines all over each other, but John Schaefer did get around in that savvy Jeep. We'll see what kind of lines they take up the MBRP rock section. Jesse Haines and John Schaefer putting on a show for second and third place.
I see fantastic display of driving there from John Schaefer. Wow, that was incredible. I wonder if Jesse Haines has got any teeth left. He's running on leaf springs on that thing. He must have been kicking all over the place.
So in the MBRP rock section, who's going to go right? Who's going to go left?
Schaefer goes the right line. Jesse Haines goes left. Schaefer gets hung up, has to back up. Jesse Haines takes back over second place. This is a great, great, great battle.
Yeah, John Schaefer's had to come right back off that line, and he might have to go all the way back down to the bottom to clear himself. But there he is, second place, Jesse Haines. Rock crawling royalty right there. And there we are, that's our leader, Dawson Allington, and he will take the white flag as he crosses the rocks. This is the start of his final lap. It's been a fantastic drive from Dawson. He took the lead right from the start, and he's been there ever since.
Dawson Allington out on his 7th and final lap for this 4600 Spider Track stock class. This is the 2019 Four-Wheel Parts Nitto National Championship, and Dawson's out front running a great race.
And on camera now is John Schaefer, our 3rd place vehicle, and you will see the 2nd place vehicle coming down to the Four-Wheel Parts rocks, and that is Jesse Haines.
So we'll see what kind of battle they have on this last lap. It's been a battle this whole race, Jesse Haines and John Schaefer. But it looks like Jesse Haines is starting to pull away from him. Not sure what's going on with Schaefer.
Schaefer's coming straight back at him. Look at this. Jesse Haines has got to be careful here. John Schaefer is catching him.
And look how those big rocks are swallowing those 35-inch tires. But Jesse Haines is still going. Schaefer's pushing hard. It's going to be a race to the finish, Jim.
Oh, this is going to be an incredible race here for 2nd and 3rd, that's for sure. But Dawson Allington is picking his way down the rocks, and he's going to come across some pretty heavy lap traffic as they come up into the MBRP.
So Dawson Allington heading into the MBRP rock section, but there's Christopher Doria, there's Josh Atterbury. The lap traffic in his way. Is that going to play a point in this roll?
I'm not sure that it is. It looks like they're all clearing the rocks. Dawson Allington will be sitting there going, yes, come on guys, drive out of my way.
And here's the battle for second coming down the KMC rock section. Jesse Haines out front, John Schaefer on his tail. Remember the last time they were side by side, wheels touching. But Jesse Haines still in front just by a couple car lengths.
He is, but don't forget, John Schaefer is faster through the rocks, closer to the start-finish straight, so let's see what happens. While we're watching the battle for 2nd and 3rd, I can tell you now that Dawson Allington only has one more turn to make.
And then a couple more rock sections and he'll seal the deal. Hopefully Dawson can keep it together just for a couple hundred more yards. But there he's heading into the Optima 180. Jesse Haines and John Schaefer really battling out. John Schaefer goes for the pass, stuffs a rock. This is a battle.
That was a big hit indeed.
Jesse Haines and John Schaefer.
While this is all going on, we have Dawson Allington. And Dawson Allington will be taking the checkered flag. Oh my word.
Dawson
Allington takes the checkered flag and only has the steel-lit rocks to do. But he's got lap traffic in front of him. Come on, Dawson, keep it together.
And you want to keep momentum going with these little 35-inch tires, so hopefully that steel-lit rock section he can keep going, but he is fighting lap traffic.
Oh, he's fighting massive lap traffic here, and it's stopped in front of him. Dawson Allington has been stalled. Oh, he's moving again. His heart will be in his mouth. Come on, Dawson.
Dawson Allington clears the rocks. Unofficial first place, Dawson Allington in the 4600 Spider Track stock class.
Well,
great job, Dawson.
What a fantastic drive there from Dawson Allington. And coming around the top of the course now is this man. It's Jesse Haines in the unbelievable Roxor Mahindra.
Here comes second place, Jesse Haines. He's got just 2 more rock sections away, and he'll light it up. How far back is John Schaefer? He's having issues. He had to back up. He's in the infield.
I think John Schaefer has got steering box problems. You see him, he's been chasing that all the way. But here we go. It's Jesse Haines coming into the steel-lit rocks for the last time. He's just got to pick his way over. Can he make it?
1 more steel-lit rock session away. Jesse Haines should seal the deal unofficially for second place.
And there we go, it's Jesse Haines crossing the line and takes second place in stock class here at the Ultra 4 Full Wheel Parts National Championships 2019. What a superb drive from Jesse Haines. But let's not forget, it's all the glory to Dawson Allington as John Schaefer takes the flag and makes his way across the steel-lit rocks. I think he's got a steering box that's hanging on by a thread. and he's being caught. Now,
Yeah, look at this. It could be Bill Schultz. Could get into third place. John Schaefer, Bill Schultz. Going to be battling all the way to that finish line. Yes, it looks like John Schaefer's having steering issues, so it looks like it could be Bill Schultz moving into third position. Tough break for John Schaefer.
Tough break here for John Schaefer. We said it before. One man's sorrow is another man's joy, and Bill Schultz unofficially will be joining Jesse Haines and Dawson Allington on the podium.
What a great race we just watched for the 4600 Spider Track stock class. Huge shout out to Spider Tracks for stepping up and sponsoring the stock class. It's a lot of fun, lots of action, and we just saw a great race.
I love this racing, Miles. It is simply fantastic, and I love the way our stock class is growing every year.
So unofficially, third place, Bill Schultz. Second place, Jesse Haines.
And in first place, it's that young man, Dawson Allington. What an amazing drive he's had this weekend. He really has been the pick of the bunch. Congratulations, Dawson Allington. But right now, they're just building the podium so that we can celebrate these guys who've been racing today in the 4600 Spider Track stock class. So good to see Dawson Allington taking the win here at the 2019 Ultra 4 Four-Wheel Pass National Championships.
It's been a great day of racing, but the action is not over at all. And I think we're getting ready to send it down for the 4600 Spider Track stock class. We'll be giving out awards here just momentarily.
Yeah, any moment now we'll be passing it down to our man down in the stands, Scott Wren. He's been doing a superb job all day, keeping our crowds happy, telling them about the racing, and we're going to pass it down to Scott now.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Let's now meet our top three finishers in this afternoon's 4600 race. Jesse, there you are.
Yeah.
First off, you do realize there's kind of like a hole in your back of your fire suit back there? Kind of split the scene.
Yeah, you're not supposed to notice that.
Hey, man, congratulations on a great run out there this afternoon. First, you're the first I'm going to ask, what is the track like this year compared to last year? Obviously, without differences. Did it really throw some wrenches at you guys?
So actually, I raced here, I think it was the 15. It was the first year they raced here. I raced 4400, and that was the year we were going up the rock pile, and I mean, there weren't paths beaten in, and it was gnarly. But I haven't raced here since then, so I just looked at some videos of last year. It looked a lot easier last year, for sure. But there's no doubt that helped us because I definitely don't have the fastest car, but it's really capable through the rocks, and I mean, it definitely helped us. I think that was really the reason we're on the podium.
Well, I mean, it's with this wind, did it affect you guys out there? Because obviously there was like 50, 60 mile gusts every once in a while, would pick things up and move it around. Did it affect you guys out on the course?
It might have helped push me up the hills. I'm not sure.
Well, nice job, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Bill Schultz, Jesse Haines, and Dawson Allington.
Well, thank you, Scott. What a great race we had for the 4600 Spider Track stock class. Again, congratulations, Bill Schultz, Jesse Haines, top of the box, Dawson Allington.